being recorded.
Okay, so let me go ahead. I'll share my screen with you. You can see the dashboard that I'll pull up. Okay, so we should all be looking at the screen here. I'll go ahead and get started. I want to say welcome. Thank you, everybody, for taking your time to jump on Friday's call today. Before we get into anything, I would like to take attendance just to make sure I've got everybody on here. We have Chris Clark, Erica Morlock, Joe Ramirez, Josh and Shannon Stewart, and then also Travis Petrick. Is that everybody on the call? Okay, perfect. And then I just want to quickly introduce, we do have somebody new. They came through on the January class. We have Erica. Not sure if Roy's there with you, Erica, but it's Erica and Roy Morlock. Do you guys want to just kind of talk a little bit about your territory, what location you're at, a little bit about yourself before we jump in? Oh, actually, you know what? I see that her mic is off, so maybe she's not using she said, give me a sec. All right, we'll jump right into that when she's all set up with the mic. So let's go ahead and take a look at this dashboard. This was what was sent out today. Erica, just so you guys know, everyone in the January class, you'll be sent the weekly tracking sheet next Thursday. And so on next Friday's call, you will be added to this dashboard as well. So for now, just kind of follow along. If you have any questions regarding the dashboard or anything we talk about today, feel free to jump in, ask any of the guys on here questions or anything like that. The topic for today, we have lawn signs for those in the south and then community events for those in the north. So I will start with lawn signs. Let me scroll down so everyone can see the dashboard. Here's the dashboard for the signs. Does anybody want to kind of take the lead here and give us an overview of this tactic, talk a little bit about what we've learned as to why it's beneficial? Does anyone want to jump in?
How about I start with a question?
Sure.
Because I got zeros across the board. I did lawn signs July, August, September, all the way through October. Should I include them somewhere?
You can include them because you should include them because your lawn signs will go down. The goal at the end of the year is to put out 100. So you'll need to count the ones from last year in order to reach that goal. So definitely go ahead and add those to this list. Okay. And that goes for anybody that was in the June class. Last year, I know that Frank put out signs. Just go ahead and put those totals in here so you can get credit. If you just fill it out next Thursday, it'll update for Friday, and then you'll be good. You'll be back on track. Okay, does anybody want to kind of jump in on lawn signs here? Talk about the benefits or anything? All right, so as we know, some of the benefits of lawn signs are to establish name recognition, to get your name out there in a big way. They are relatively cheap compared to any other form of advertising. You can spend up to $1,000, $2,000. But these signs are about $4 a piece. So definitely cheap compared to other forms of marketing. Remember, you'll need multiple touches to convert a customer. So it's really great to coincide your lawn signs with when your PPC is going out, when you're going to community events in your area. All different marketing touch points for a customer to be exposed to. It takes 7 times, they say. That's the average for a customer to be exposed to your brand in order for them to make a purchase. So that's really what these signs are working towards. As far as locations, definitely choose locations where people passing by can see your lawn sign for at least more than 5 seconds. So place them in high traffic areas where, traffic will start building up. If you find a really good spot and you notice that the sign has gotten taken down, don't be afraid to put it back up in that same spot. You're going to get signs taken down. That's just the nature of this tactic. Keep putting them back up. It's totally fine. And then another thing, I'm not sure if this was mentioned on the tutorial that you guys listened to on the Lawn Doctor University, but I do want to say another thing you can do to increase the impact of these signs is that Let's say you finish servicing somebody's property, their yard looks really nice. Just take a picture of their yard with your sign in it. You don't have to keep it there for the whole time, just to take a picture. Make sure that you're definitely not getting anyone's license plate in there or their address, but just stick to the lawn. This is a great way, because then you can then put it on your Facebook page, get it online. What this does, it creates a consistent and repetitive brand image. So the more people become familiar with the brand, the more that they're likely to trust you and make that purchase. It also shows that you're a real business. You know, how many times are you driving around and you see a lawn sign and you just don't know if it's legitimate, you don't know if they're qualified. By posting on social media, you're showing, you know, you're a legitimate business, you provide quality work, you're somebody who could be trusted. So that's another great way to kind of enhance the benefits of these signs. So for those in the South that were able to get out signs, you know, this week or just recently, what are some places that you're putting them out? Are you finding this tactic relatively easy? Any roadblocks that you're running into? Let's just talk about this one for a little bit.
This is Chris. One of the things that I found a better to keep them from disappearing so quickly, because I've had several that have been stolen, and I think they've been taken by competitors. It's a thing that Josh Stewart kind of turned me on, and that's what they call a sign stapler, and it's basically an extension pole with a stapler on the end that allows you to put them up higher on poles and not on the metal signs. That way, it's harder for people just to take them down or walk off with them or throw them in the woods. And it's really easy to use.
Yeah, that's great advice. So, you know, instead of just using the stakes and putting them in the grass, posting them on like poles or anything like that will make them a little harder for somebody just to rip out and throw away. Also, you could do, you know, get some wire and link them to a chain fence. I've seen other people do that. Attaching a green balloon to it, you know, just draws a little more attention to the sign. That's a good idea as well. Anybody else on, you know, where you're putting signs, how you're finding this tactic going?
Gabriella Shannon Stewart. I will say, just kind of to answer your initial question, I couldn't get the mute off fast enough, but we have had numerous people, from customers to people. We've been to several different BNI groups, so people in the BNI groups, people at Chamber of Commerce say, "Oh, I've seen your signs around." So it's been really good feedback. That was kind of before we started putting more down. It kind of spurred us on to think, okay, this, you know, going out and doing this work actually is beneficial. So that was great feedback. Like Chris said, the sign stapler thing that Josh got has been great for keeping the signs from being removed. The other thing that we found is putting it in places where it looks like they don't mow frequently, or they haven't mowed in a while, or are not going to mow, tends to be where our signs will stay for longer periods of time. We do them kind of at busy intersections, at exits to neighborhoods that we know have, you know, kind of nicer, more expensive houses. So that's kind of been our experience with them.
Yeah, I actually didn't think about that. You know, if somebody's taking care of like either those medians, if there's grass in the medians, and if they have a landscaper, you're right, they're more likely to get taken down there. I believe somebody also told me that those who go around taking the signs down, like if they work for the town, you know, put them out on the weekends because they won't be at work, you know, during the weekend. So that's another good thing to point out there. Maybe you should be, you know, going out Saturday morning, putting out a bunch of signs, you know, seeing if they stay up during the weekend. You'll find areas there might be somewhere where you put a sign and it immediately gets taken down. You know, you'll kind of get the knack of which are the better spots to put those lawn signs out throughout your territory. I do want to ask also, what's your strategy are you guys putting your lawn signs out throughout the entirety of your territory, or you're focusing on one area to build density? What's everybody's, you know, thought process on that?
One area to build density.
So we're trying to build density in one area. That's a really good, definitely a good strategy to start out. You know, the more spread out you are, the more you're going to have to travel, that kind of thing. So you're going to want to build density in one area to kind of cut down the cost of, you know, gas and your travel time. So building density is the way to go for sure.
I've been focusing on major thoroughfares to residential neighborhoods, you know, not hitting the little side streets, but the major thoroughfares where they get the most vehicular traffic.
Yeah, so anywhere that you think somebody's going to see it for at least 5 seconds, you know, not somewhere there's no traffic lights or anything like that, and they're just going to fly right by and not even notice it, but anywhere that somebody sits, you know, they have time to kind of look around. It's not likely that they're going to dial the phone number on the lawn sign right away, you know, because they're driving, but it is likely that they'll go on to your website, search you after that, and maybe, you know, request more information because they saw your lawn sign. So don't get discouraged if you're noticing that not so many people are immediately calling you from the lawn sign, because that's just not realistic. You know, people are driving. But you will find, like, you know, Shannon said, you'll get some feedback. I've seen your signs around. I recognize the thumb, that kind of thing. And that's really the goal out of this tactic, and really the goal out of all your local marketing.
My only concern about, you know, putting them in intersections is take a look at the intersection. What is everybody doing? You look around, you see everybody on their phones texting while they're at a stop. So I don't think they're paying attention to the corners anyway. So that's why I kind of been focusing on roadways. Obviously, you wouldn't put on a roadway where it's 55 miles per hour, 70, but like in residential streets, there are major thoroughfares where the speed limit is 30 to 40 miles an hour. I hope they would see them. But yeah, I look around at intersections, I see everybody texting. So.
Yeah, and also kind of take a look at your driving habits. If there's a sign of another business that you're kind of always spotting when you're driving, that kind of seems like a good spot. We never want to flood up an area. You know, if there's political signs or a whole bunch of other signs, don't, you know, throw yourself in there because it's just going to look cluttered, and we don't want to contribute to that litter. But if there is something that you recognize when you're driving, think about, you know, why do you recognize it? Is it because I'm at a stop sign, or I'm, you know, only going 35? So just kind of take a look at your own driving habits and see what that good areas are to put signs out.
One of the places that I'd kind of mentioned this, but one of the things that, like, I've noticed, like you mentioned with driving habits, pulling out of a neighborhood, you're generally not, you know, on your phone once you stop. So we have a lot of neighborhoods that kind of come to a T, and then there's a grassy area across the street from that. And so we're putting it across the street from the exit. So as people drive up to stop at the stop sign, and they're going to start looking, you know, left or right, whichever direction they're going to turn, we just put it straight across there, so it's directly on their eyesight as they're stopping. And that's been pretty effective.
Yeah, that is a great spot. Right across from a stop sign at any of those T intersections out of a neighborhood or anything. Yeah, that's definitely a really great spot. We have a couple of those actually around here, and I always notice the signs at the end of the intersection. So that's definitely a very good idea. Does anyone have any questions about lawn signs? Anything you want to propose to the group? Okay, if we're all good with lawn signs, you know, this is a relatively easy tactic, right? It doesn't take that much effort, just finding a good spot. Always keep a couple extra signs in your vehicle, so if a good location, you know, unexpectedly pops up, you can just jump out and quickly put it up. Do take notice of how many, like, of the signs that are getting taken down, because you're going to want to put another one up quickly right away. And the objective for lawn signs is to get them all out by the end of your power window. So for those of you with just lawn signs, those are just the generic ones with the green thumb. You're going to want to get them all out during that peak selling season. That's when customers are most likely looking to purchase lawn care. So don't leave any of them, you know, for the end of the year. Just get as many out during your power window. Like we all know, that power window, that takes up about 70% of your sales. So we really want to be driving full force with the marketing. You know, utilizing all of the tactics, all of the marketing tactics during that power window so you can really get that full 70%. And then for those of you who also have mosquito lawn signs, we'll talk a little bit more about the effectiveness of these when, mosquito season starts picking up, but also you're going to want to put all of those out as well. Signs sitting in your garage are not working for you. So you're going to want to get them all out quickly as possible, especially the mosquito signs, because a mosquito purchase really is reactive. Nobody thinks about it until they're in their backyard, they've got bitten by a mosquito, and they quickly want to get rid of them. So that's why the signs are very crucial for your mosquito sales. But we could talk a little bit more about that when we kind of approach mosquito season. If we're all good with lawn signs, I do want to jump down to the second tactic that was our focus today. It is community events. So this was for the North. The focus of this really was just to identify events in your area. So if anybody, I know a couple of people in the South also have an event, so feel free to speak up about this. We don't have to break this into, different groups here. Feel free to jump in whenever, but does anyone have an event coming up soon that they want to kind of talk about? What event is it? How are you planning to prepare? And we can kind of just all brainstorm ideas on, what we could do to really enhance an event, whether it's including a show promotion, doing a cool promo item, or doing any sort of demonstration at the booth. We could talk a little bit about that now. Does anyone have an event coming up?
I have my local home and garden show coming up in first week or two in February that I plan on, I have that booth at, and I plan on just doing a, static display and getting out there with my turf tamer at my display and just trying to meet customers and introduce what I do and everything.
Yeah, and a good thing as far as decorating your booth. I wouldn't bring necessarily a TV, but if you have an iPad or a tablet or anything that you could show customers before and after pictures, those really work on, selling the customer. Everyone wants to see those kind of pictures. The turf tamer is a great talking piece. People like to see about our machinery. It's very unique, kind of walk them through what that turf tamer is able to do. Those are all great things to include in your booth display.
Well, but the thing about it, it'd be great to have some before and after pictures, but they're going to be provided by somebody else, obviously, because I'm just now getting started. So where would I get some before and after pictures?
Yeah, I could pull you some before and after pictures if you like, just to kind of show the quality of, the products in the program.
Right. Okay. Great.
And I also have some videos as well that people have done in the past that just kind of set on a loop. Whether it's a video of how the turf tamer works or one of the other products. So I'll send that as well to all of you guys that have an event coming up. Travis, do you want to talk a little bit about your fall show that you did just recently back in September or whenever it was? You want to talk about that home improvement show?
Sure. I'm doing one in March as well, and I'm thinking it's going to be probably 2 or 3 times as busy as the fall one, just because everybody's tired of being in their houses. But I set up my booth and I had all the signs and all of that stuff, and I thought my booth looked pretty good. What I'm going to do differently this year as opposed to the last one I did is I'm going to have a giveaway. I haven't really decided what the giveaway is because I'm in my heart, I'm not big on giveaways because it attracts the wrong people. But that said, I'm probably going to give a one-time yard treatment to somebody just to get them in there and get their email addresses and all of that stuff. The other thing is I built some pamphlets because in my area, nobody knows what a lawn doctor is. As far as they're concerned, you're just another chuck in a truck. So what do you do? Well, can you cut my lawn? No, I don't mow my lawn. So with Gabriella's help, I made a pamphlet, and it's got all of my phone number, contact information, etc. So when people ask me what I do, I can hand it to them and we can open it up and we can talk about mosquito. We can talk about power seeding, all of that stuff. And another thing I'm doing differently this time as opposed to the first go is I'm going to bring in the turf tamer and possibly the power seeder, depending on how crowded my booth is. Just for a little bit of show and tell, and I'm also going to bring some of my yard signs just to help decorate the place, as you can never have too much. And I'm still holding out for Gabriella to get me some balloons. Crickets.
Definitely work on those balloons. Those will be great to hand out.
And they give you an award for the best dressed up booth. Not that that's a big deal, but it's okay to win.
Yes. And definitely, push it onto social media, post on your page that you'll be attending the event, kind of do a little pre-promotion on your booth number, that kind of thing, and then just take as many pictures as possible throughout the event. Pictures of you interacting with your customers, that kind of thing, and you can always post that on your social media sites. I do want to jump in regards to like having an offer at a show. So we do have included in the event kit, there is a banner for win free lawn care for the year. Some people like to take up that offer. Some people don't necessarily, because it's, what if somebody has a giant property and they win, that kind of thing. But it is having an offer at your booth is a great way to get people to give you their contact information. We give you guys raffle tickets, raffle entry forms that they have to fill out, name, what they're interested in. They can circle whether they're interested in mosquito or power seeding or a maintainer, and they'll give you their email address and their phone number. And that's how you get all your lead information. So it's a great follow-up after the event. Instead of doing free lawn care, you could just do a free mosquito service or a free soil enrichment, just something a little smaller than an entire year's worth of maintainer program. So whatever you'd like, use your discretion on that. But the contact forms are really great to getting people's customer information.
I figured I'd follow the parameters that are on those door hangers we got. I think it says up to 4,000 square feet.
Yes. Yep.
Something like that.
Yeah, you could definitely make a little like small font, and small print, and just kind of put a disclaimer there that you only up to a certain amount of square footage, so you're not, losing a lot on doing such a big property.
I did notice, I went through AMA training this morning, and that was a question I had, and I can't even remember what email it was that goes out by AMA, but it was something along the same lines, but it said up to 5,000 square feet. So we have a discrepancy of, 4,000 and 5,000 being sent out in two different areas.
It could very well be 5,000. I didn't remember the exact square footage.
Well, no, I thought it was 4,000, and then when I saw that, it said 5,000. So either me and you both are wrong, or there's a discrepancy in that.
Yeah,
I'll run out and look at one and I can let you know.
I could take a look, because I believe all the kind of like marketing creative files that I sent you, I think it says up to 5,000. So if that's kind of the sweeping rule, I would stick to that. Like Chris said, you don't want somebody to go to an event and you cap it at 4,000, whereas they're receiving emails or any other marketing communications that say 5,000 on it. So I'll check for everyone, but I do think it's 5,000.
Another thing that messes up the people is it seems like nowadays 7 out of 10 people at the trade show have a dog with them. Have some dog treats. It's always a good disruptor.
Yeah, dog treats are really great. We have tennis balls as part of the promo kits, that online promotional store. You can order tennis balls. Those are good for giving out to dog owners, or if you're at a dog event. Dog treats, that's really, you don't even have to get them. You can just go ahead and pick up dog treats yourself and maybe put them in little individual baggies or something like that. And then just maybe attach it to a business card of yours or something like that. Just make sure whatever you hand out to anybody who stops by your booth, it has your contact information on it. You know, you never want a person that you're talking to leave without knowing how they can reach you later. So just always give people any sort of collateral with your name, your website address on it, your phone number, anything like that.
And will you have tennis balls for that?
Tennis balls, yeah, it should come in your promo startup kit. So for those of you in the January class, that will be shipping soon. And then everyone else, you should have received a kit with tennis balls in it. And if you want to reorder, you just go to that online Coretta website. I could send that link out to everybody after this call. I'll send the audio recording of this conversation, and then any kind of resource like that, I'll send the link to where you can order additional promo items.
Tennis balls and fly swatters are extremely popular.
Yeah, those fly swatters were good.
Do you want to break it to him, Gabriella, that we can't get any more?
That we can't get any more, or of the
Yeah,
swatter?
yeah. Did you find fly swatters? I can't find them.
Last year, for everyone who's kind of like, what are they talking about? Last year, to promote mosquito and fire ant, we sent out fly swatters to everybody, and I believe the one for mosquito said like, stop swatting and call on doctor. So that one was good. I do have some here. I could take a look at how many I have, and I could send them out. The problem is I went through our specific vendor, and they're kind of more expensive. If there is interest, I could always place another order, and we can get a bulk order shipped here, and I could send them out to everybody. But I'm glad to hear that those went over well, that people liked them.
Yeah, I'd take 100 of them.
Okay, perfect. I see Kathy. Are you on here? I just don't know if your mic's working. I know that you jumped on.
Yes, I'm on here.
Hi, how are you? Did you want to talk a little bit about the parades you did last year? Because the parades are another great thing that you guys could be doing. They're relatively easy. You don't have to stay all day at a booth. You want to talk a little bit about the parade, or anyone else who's done a parade?
Okay, we must have two Kathys because I'm brand new, just starting out. So.
Sorry, we do. Kathy DeBurger.
Yeah, hi Gabriella. Hi everybody.
Hi.
Yeah, last year I did our July 4th parade. It's a big thing in my main community. It was really super easy. We bought candy and we had flyer handouts that basically, because I was new, introduced me. I'm not even sure if I was servicing yet. So we had these they were probably 4x5 flyers that we handed out along with candy along the way. We had T-shirts made that said Lawn Doctor on the front and our chapter name on the back, if you will. So it said Southeast Cincinnati, Anderson Township, and my phone number. And we bought from like Oriental Trading, because it was a July 4th parade, we bought sunglasses that had like a U.S. flag imprint across the face of the sunglasses. You could still see through them, but when people looked at you, it looked like you were wearing the American flag. And everybody loved it. They all noticed our T-shirt. They noticed the sunglasses we were wearing. And it was really easy. It was, a couple of hours on July 4th. And people along the route sometimes would talk to us as we were passing out the flyers. So super easy and a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you make a great point. I don't think you were servicing yet, but it's a great way to build brand awareness. So, St. Patrick's Day is coming up. I'm not sure if any of your towns do a St. Patrick's Day parade. Parades will definitely become more popular in the summer. There'll be a Memorial Day parade, 4th of July parade. So definitely look out for those. But try to see if there's a St. Patrick's Day parade going on that would make sense for you to you just drive the Lawn Doctor vehicle down, relatively easy, get some family, friends, your kids. It's definitely a fun thing to do together. So that would be a great, jump into the season for everybody. And I do want to mention, definitely look for the home and outdoor, home and garden shows, those larger trade shows. But certainly look for the smaller, fairs and festivals that you have going on in your territory, vendor fairs or business expos. Kathy, I know you're doing an Easter egg hunt even, so just those creative, fun things where you definitely know people are going to be. Take a minute to think about, what events you go to with your family, anything that is popular. Look to see if there's an opportunity for you to set up a booth, for you to advertise, or even sponsor. Events are a great way to meet the community and even to sell, because you're going to be face-to-face with people in the community. So a lot of people find success in selling at events.
Gabrielle, I have a question on the trade shows.
Sure.
Okay, so we're, not servicing yet, probably won't be until the very end of February, 1st of March, just starting. But there's 2 trade shows here in our local area that's weekends back to back. How many trade shows do you recommend we try to attend? Those are both home and garden trade shows. Should we try to attend both back to back? Do we need to spread it out more?
Do you know if the ones that are back to back, is it the same like convention center? Is it the same people kind of hosting it, or is it in 2 different areas of your territory?
It's actually in 2 different areas of the territory. And it is 2 different hosts. So I would take a look at, because sometimes these larger trade shows can get expensive. Your goal for the year is to attend 5 events, whether that's a mixture of these larger trade shows or the smaller community events. So based on your budget, you have $2,500 in your community events budget to kind of spread out throughout 5 events. Do you want to email me the names of those 2 larger trade shows, and I can kind of take a look at which one would either be more beneficial, or if they're cost effective, maybe you go to both. Okay.
It would just come down to budget, really.
Okay. All right. Because between the 2, that would eat up the bulk of the $2,500 budget.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And since, it's not a problem to go to 2 of the larger trade shows, but just since they're the same time of year, you do want to spread your events out throughout the season, so you're constantly like putting your name out there. If you do all of it now, you kind of left with nothing for later on during the season. So it might make sense just to do 1 at this point, and then you can always do the next, the other one next year.
Okay. All right. I'll send you that information.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions on community events? Are we all good with this tactic? Anything you want to ask the group? Okay, these were 2, lawn signs and community events. People typically tend to like these 2 tactics, so that's great. Any questions that you have, feel free to, speak up now, or you can certainly email me after this call. Before I jump to anything else, did anybody want to bring up any other of the 10 ground game tactics? Maybe something we've discussed before, maybe something we haven't discussed. Now really is your time to kind of collaborate with the group and, ask for advice.
So I have a question for the group. What is on the local level, what do you think is your #1 attention getter? Is it the yard signs? Is it the events? Is it little community events?
That's a great question. Does anyone want to is there one of the 10 tactics that you feel you get the most traction with?
I'd say the van is really, really powerful. You got to drive your van to get to work. So anywhere you go, drive your van if it's applicable. And that and the trade shows are probably the 2 top for me.
Anyone else want to jump in there? Just kind of give your feedback, what you feel is working best for you. Anyone? Does anyone want to just jump in here, or we're all excited for the weekend? So yeah, just as a general, I do agree with Travis. I feel the community events are great to be face-to-face with potential customers. It's a great way to convert those customers into customers. You know, you can sign people up right there. You can schedule lawn evaluations right then and there. So those are really great with getting face-to-face. And then the van, it really is just your biggest asset because it's just a moving billboard. It really speaks for itself. Everyone recognizes the logo. You know, the more you're driving it around, you're giving the impression that you're busy and that you're servicing customers, that you're popular, that your customers are happy with your work. That's why you're out and about driving again. So the vehicle is really great. You know, don't leave it sitting in your driveway. Definitely get it out there. Definitely do your parking. That's, you know, parking it in either the Lowe's or the Home Depot parking lot or any of those busy shopping centers. Get the van out there. It definitely does a lot of the work for you.
Okay, thank you.
And if nobody has, does anyone have any other questions? I do, before we hop off this call, I want to introduce the new January class that we have. I believe we have on here Kathy Robinson, Mark Boyd, I know you jumped on, and then Roy and Erica Morlock. Kathy, you just want to jump in and just say, you know, where you're located, a little bit about yourself.
Okay. This is Kathy Robinson and my partner Stephen Rakovic. We are located in Northwest Arkansas, and we hope to be have everything wrapped up and servicing with our license and everything at the end of February.
Okay, great. So everybody welcome them. Northwest Arkansas, they're going to be really valuable in that area. So that'll be great to hear their kind of feedback of what's going on with their customers over there. Let's see if Mark, you have your, so Mark it doesn't look like he has his mic on, but I'll just do a little introduction. He is located the Lawn Doctor of Augusta, so he's in Georgia. And then we also have Roy and Erica Morlock. They are Lawn Doctor of Concord, Mount Pleasant, so that's North Carolina. So those are our, you know, couple new additions. Please welcome them. They will be on our Friday calls from now on, so they're going to join in all the fun that we have each Friday. All right.
Welcome, guys.
If that's good with everybody, I'll let everyone go. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Please feel free to reach out to me with anything that you need. Yep, enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gabriella.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.